Now let's look into the thought process of Satan. In the previous video, excuse me, we showed how the Most High Yahweh made a covenant with Adam, and in a sense, that covenant with Adam represents mankind in regards to salvation, because in saving Adam, promising Adam salvation before anybody else was born, Adam and Eve, in a sense, in effect, it brings salvation to the rest of Adam's seed, or the people that come from Adam. Let's look at the thought process of our adversary. Now, this is still from the first book of Adam and Eve. But Satan, the hater of all righteousness, thought within himself, whereas the Most High has promised salvation to Adam by covenant, and that he would deliver him out of all the hardships that have befallen him, but has not promised me by covenant, and will not deliver me out of my hardships. Nay, since he has promised him that he would make him and his seed dwell in the kingdom in which I once was, I will kill Adam. Interesting to see the adversary recognizing that this is a covenant promised by the Most High himself, not only to Adam, but Adam's seed. Not only that, we see jealousy here, because the kingdom that the devil was in before, obviously the devil and the host were kicked out, and it's promised to Adam and his seed to inherit this kingdom. Number 8, the earth shall be rid of him, and shall be left to me alone, so that when he is dead, he may not have any seed left to inherit the kingdom that shall remain my own realm. Yahweh will then be in want of me, and he will restore me to it with my hosts. So this is a pretty sick mindset. Let's go look at the source. Whenever you come to the website here, Israel.com, I try to include the sources in everything. Let's go to the source here. Let's open this up. As a matter of fact, we're going to go back a few pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to start to read from here, and then we'll get up to this part here, because I think that there's some context here that you all should be aware of. And as a matter of fact, I encourage all of you to read the entire book of Adam and Eve, the first and second books. Then the word of Yahweh came to Adam, and said unto him, O Adam, why hadst thou not this dread, neither this fasting, nor this care this? And why hadst thou not this fear before thou did transgress? Most High is asking Adam, why didn't you think about all of this before you heeded the voice of the adversary? But when thou camest to dwell in this strange land, thy animal body could not be on earth without earthly food to strengthen it and to restore its powers. And Yahweh withdrew his word from Adam. It's an interesting bit of passage here. Even the Most High is taking note that, yes, you're in a different body, you're in an altered state. And many times, or a few times, Adam and Eve reference their body now as animal flesh, further driving home the point that they were never in this form originally, the form that you and I have and experience today. Next. Then Adam took the fig and laid it on the golden rods. Eve took her fig and put it upon the incense, and the weight of each fig was that of a watermelon, for the fruit of the garden was much larger than the fruit of this land. But Adam and Eve remained standing and fasting the whole of that night until the morning dawned. When the sun rose, they were at their prayers, and Adam said to Eve, after they had done praying, O Eve, come, let us go to the border of the garden, looking south, to the place whence the river flows and is parted into four heads. There we will pray to the Most High and ask Him to give us drink of the water of life. For our Father has not fed us with the tree of life, in order that we may not live. We will therefore ask Him to give us the water of life, and to quench our thirst with it, rather than with a drink of water of this land. Interesting to see they are taking note. Since they can't get the tree is under lock and key, so to speak. They're thinking to themselves, okay, well, if He won't give us from the tree, maybe He'll give us from the water of life. Revelations 22. This should be in the Amplified Bible. Okay. Revelations 22, number 1. Then the angel showed me a river of water of life, clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of the Most High and the Savior, Yahshua Messiah, in the middle of its street. On either side of the river was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. There will no longer exist anything that is cursed, because sin and illness and death are gone, and the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb will be in it, and His bondservants will serve and worship Him with great awe and joy and loving devotion. They will be privileged to see His face, and His name will be on their foreheads, and there will no longer be night. They have no need for the lamplight or sunlight, because Yahweh will illumine them, and they will reign as kings forever and ever. So you have in Revelations 22, there is reference to the water of life and also the tree of life. Let's get back here. When Eve heard these words from Adam, she agreed, and they both arose and came to the southern border of the garden, upon the brink of the river of water, at some little distance from the garden. And they stood and prayed before the Most High, and asked Him to look upon them this once, to forgive them, and to grant them their request. This is a consistent theme throughout the book of Adam and Eve, their constant request and begging for forgiveness. This is the first time we see human beings asking for forgiveness after sin. After this prayer from both of them, Adam began to pray with his voice before Yahweh and said, O Yahweh, when I was in the garden and saw the water that flowed from under the tree of life, my heart did not desire, neither did my body require to drink of it. Neither did I know thirst, for I was living and above that which I am now. So that in order to live, I did not require any food of life, neither did I drink of the water of life. But now, Yahweh, I am dead. My flesh is parched with thirst. Give me of the water of life, that I may drink of it and live. Of thy mercy, my Father, save me from these plagues and trials, and bring me into another land different from this, if thou wilt not let me dwell in thy garden. Very interesting. Adam considers himself as dead. the height on which he left or was degraded from, to now, to him and Eve, in their eyes, they're considered as dead. Let me know if you've ever heard anybody in the churches talk about this, your pastors and so forth. Why are they afraid to look into these scriptures, these texts? One of the best things you can do, especially when you're looking into scriptures that are not normally found in your regular Bible, is to look for consistency or confluence, because the Most High, He is consistent. If He says it in one place, then He'll say it in another place, and another place, and another place. As those scriptures say, by the mouth of two or more witnesses shall a matter be established. Here we already have references to the tree and the tree of life and the water of life, and Adam and Eve begging for some of it, some reprieve from their current state. Next chapter. Then the word of the Most High. Then came the word of Yahweh to Adam, and said unto him, O Adam, as to what thou sayest, bring me into a land where there is rest. It is not another land than this, but it is the kingdom of heaven, where alone there is rest. But thou canst not make thy entrance into it at present, but only after thy judgment is past and fulfilled. Then will I make thee go up into the kingdom of heaven, thee and thy righteous seed, and I will give thee and them the rest thou asketh for at present. The Most High is telling Adam, you and the rest of your seed, whom I judge worthy, the Most High is saying, I will bring you all back into the garden, where you were once before Adam and Eve. And if thou saidest, give me of the water of life that I may drink and live, it cannot be this day, but on the day that I shall descend into hell and break the gates of brass and bruise in pieces the kingdoms of iron. So the Most High is telling Adam, basically, I already have a plan. I need to get some things done in order that this plan is fulfilled. And after everything is said and done, I'm going to bring you and your children back into the garden. So 6, then will I have mercy. Then will I in mercy save thy soul and the souls of the righteous, to give them rest in my garden. And that shall be when the end of the world is come. So not before. This end of this world, that's that judgment day that we see in Revelations and in Joel or Yael and all throughout the scriptures, the great day of Yahweh, the great day of the Most High. And he's letting Adam know this. And again, as regards to the water of life thou seeketh, it will not be granted thee this day, but on the day that I shall shed my blood upon thy head in the land of Golgotha. So he's also giving Adam a prophecy of the Messiah, because I believe the land of Golgotha, is where the Messiah was sacrificed. Golgotha. Right. So Golgotha, also called Calvary, is the skull-shaped hill outside ancient Jerusalem where Yeshua was sacrificed or crucified, named for its Aramaic meaning, place of the skull. It's a significant site in Christianity, identified by Roman Empress Helena in 325 AD. And y'all can do further research on that. Interesting, he's giving Adam forewarning, foreshadowing of events of things to come. Here he goes, number 8. For my blood shall be the water of life unto thee at that time, and not to thee alone, but unto all those of thy seed who shall believe in me, that it be unto them for rest forever. Then Yahweh said again to Adam, O Adam, when thou wast in the garden, these trials did not come to thee, but since thou didst transgress my commandment, all these sufferings have come upon thee. Now also does thy flesh require food and drink. Drink then of that water that flows by thee on the face of the earth. Yahweh then withdrew his word from Adam, and Adam and Eve worshipped the Most High and returned from the river of water to the cave. It was noonday, and when the day drew near to the cave, they saw a large fire by it. Then Adam and Eve were afraid and stood still. And Adam said to Eve, What is this fire by our cave? We do nothing in it to bring about this fire. Neither have bread to bake therein, nor broth to cook there. As to this fire, we know not the like, neither do we know what to call it. Interesting how I don't think I even recognized that before when I read this before. They're looking at this fire. They know it's fire, but it's different. It's a different kind of fire than they're used to. But ever since the Most High sent the cherub with a sword of fire that flashed and lightened in his hand, from fear of which we fell down and were like corpses, we have not seen the like. But now, O Eve, behold, this is the same fire that was in the cherub's hand, which Yahweh has sent to keep the cave in which we dwell. O Eve, is it because Yahweh is angry with us and will drive us from it? You can see some fear starting to set in because they're uncertain of what this fire is. O Eve, we have again transgressed his commandment in that cave, so that he had sent this fire to burn around it and to prevent us from going into it. If this be really so, O Eve, where shall we dwell? And whither shall we flee from before the face of Yahweh? Since as regards the garden, he will not let us abide in it, and he has deprived us from the great things thereof. But he has placed us in this cave in which we have borne darkness, trials, and hardships, until at last we found comfort therein. But now he has brought us out into another land. Who knows what may happen in it? And who knows but that the darkness of that land may be far greater than the darkness of this land? Who knows what may happen in that land by day or by night? And who knows whether it will be far or near, O Eve, where it will please Yahweh to put us? Be far from the garden, O Eve, or where Yahweh will prevent us from beholding him because we have transgressed his commandment. This is the second time we've been reading here. He's talking about the commandment. Interesting. I've heard some preachers say that it was his son Abel that taught him the laws. It could be furthest thing from the truth. Anyways, and because we have made requests unto him at all times. O Eve, if Yahweh will bring us into a strange land other than this in which we find consolation, it must be to put our souls to death and blot out our name from the face of the earth. So basically, Adam and Eve are tripping out. They see this fire. They don't know what to make of it. It kind of looks like the fire from the flashing sword from the cherub that sent them out the garden. They don't know. 11. O Eve, if we are further estranged from the garden and from the Most High, where shall we find him again and ask him to give us gold, incense, myrrh? In the previous pages, Adam begged the Most High to give him some token or some thing from the garden so that they might remember. Y'all have to go read it for yourself. But amongst those was gold, incense, and myrrh that was given to him from the garden. So he's making reference from it. Okay? And some fruit of the fig tree. Where shall we find him to comfort us a second time? And where shall we find him that he may think of us as regards to the covenant he has made on our behalf? Then Adam said no more, and they kept looking, he and Eve, towards the cave at that fire that flared up around it. But that fire was from Satan. For behold, he had gathered trees and dry grasses, and had carried and brought them to the cave, and had set fire to them, in order to consume the cave and what was in it, so that Adam and Eve should be left in sorrow, and he should cut off their trust in the Most High, and make them deny him. This is the purpose. Doubt the Most High. And this is what the Most High wants to see also from us. You know, he explains that. He wants to see if we trust him. Here we see some of the first examples of that through our forefather, Adam and Eve. 16. But by the mercy of Yahweh, he could not burn the cave. For Yahweh sent his angel, or Malachim, or cherubim, angel around the cave to guard it from such a fire until it went out. And this fire lasted from noonday until break of day. That was the 45th day. Yet Adam and Eve were standing and looking at the fire, and unable to come near the cave from their dread of the fire. And Satan kept on burning trees and throwing them into the fire until the flame thereof rose upon high and covered the whole cave, thinking, as he did in his own mind, to consume the cave with much fire. But the angel of the Most High was guarding it. This is a very wicked thing. Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden, out of their home, basically almost homeless. They're told to go dwell in a cave, and Satan wants to burn down the cave. Typical. And yet he could not curse Satan nor injure him by word. This is the angel now that did not curse Satan nor injure him by word, because he had no authority over him. Neither did he take to doing so with words from his mouth. Therefore did the angel bear with him, without saying one bad word, until the word of the Most High, who said to Satan, Go hence. Once before didst thou deceive my servants, and this time thou seekest to destroy them? Were it not for my mercy, I would have destroyed thee and thy hosts from off the earth. But I have had patience with thee unto the end of the world. Then Satan fled from before the Most High. But the fire went on burning around the cave like a coal fire the whole day, which was the 46th day Adam and Eve had spent since they came out of the garden. And when Adam and Eve saw that the heat of the fire had somewhat cooled down, they began to walk towards the cave to get into it as they were wont, but they could not, by reason of the heat of the fire. Then they both took to weeping because of that fire that made separation between them and the cave, and that drew towards them burning, and they were afraid. And Adam said to Eve, See this fire of which we have a portion in us, which formerly yielded to us, but no longer does so? Now we have transgressed the limit of creation and changed our condition. So Adam and Eve are admitting that the fire had no power over them while they were in the garden and yielded to them. They could control the fire. Our nature is altered, but the fire is not changed in its nature nor altered from its creation. Therefore has it now power over us, and when we come near it, it scorches our flesh. Then Adam rose and prayed to the Most High, saying, See, this fire has made separation between us and the cave in which thou hast commanded us to dwell. But now, behold, we cannot go into it. Then Yahweh heard Adam and sent his word that said, O Adam, see this fire, how different the flame and heat thereof are from the garden of delights and the righteous things in it? When thou wast under my control, all creatures yielded to thee. But after thou hast transgressed my commandment, they all rise over thee. Again, Yahweh said unto him, See, O Adam, how Satan has exalted thee. He has deprived thee of the Godhead and of an exalted state like unto me, and has not kept his word to thee, but after all is become thy foe. It is he who made this fire in which he meant to burn thee and Eve. Why, O Adam, has he not kept his agreement with thee, not even one day, but has deprived thee of the glory that was on thee when thou didst yield to his command? So the Most High is saying, look, this wasn't a problem before. I made you in my likeness and image. And as we could see, the Most High was training Adam as a father would train up a son as he grew up. But now, the promises made by the adversary, the Most High is asking, where's all these nice words and the promises that the adversary made for you? Where is it? How come he's not keeping his agreement? Right? Thinkest thou, Adam, that he loved thee when he made this agreement with thee? Or that he loved thee and wished to raise thee on high? But no, Adam, he did not do all that out of love to thee, but he wished to make thee come out of the light into darkness, and from an exalted state to degradation, from glory to abasement, from joy to sorrow, and from rest to fasting and fainting. Again, we're seeing references to their former state, the original state of humanity that the Most High intended. Yahweh said also to Adam, See this fire kindled by Satan around the cave? See this wonder that surrounds thee? And know that it will encompass about thee and thy seed, when ye hearken to his behest, that he will plague you with fire, and that he shall go down into hell after ye are dead. I don't think I remember that part. That's interesting there. Then shall ye see the burning of this fire, that will thus be burning around you and your seed. There shall be no deliverance from it for you, but at my coming, in like manner as thou canst not now go into thy cave, by reason of the great fire around it, not until my word shall come that will make a way for thee on the day my covenant is fulfilled. Again, all about this covenant. Here we have in the apocrypha, the Most High is saying that this is a covenant between me and you, Adam, me and you, mankind. I promise to save you, but not yet, not when you think, on my timetable, when I finish my business that I need to finish, when I see in your race who has love towards me. These are the things the Most High is saying to Adam. Number 11, there is no way for thee at present to come from hence to rest, not until my word comes. Who is my word? Then will he make a way for thee, referencing to the Messiah. Then will he make a way for thee, and thou shalt have rest. Then Yahweh called with his word to that fire that burned around the cave, that it part itself asunder until Adam had gone through it. Then the fire parted itself by Yahweh's order, and a way was made for Adam. And Yahweh withdrew his word from Adam. Then Adam and Eve began again to come into the cave. And when they came into the way between the fire, Satan blew into the fire like a whirlwind and made on Adam and Eve a burning coal fire, so that their bodies were singed, and the coal fire scorched them. Wow, being burnt up. Even after the Most High told you to get out of here, you still came back. The devil came back and singed Adam and Eve with that fire. And from the burning of the fire, Adam and Eve cried aloud and said, O Father, save us. Leave us not to be consumed and plagued by this burning fire. Neither require us for having transgressed thy commandment. Then Yahweh looked upon their bodies on which Satan had caused fire to burn, and Yahweh sent his angel that stayed the burning fire. But the wounds remained on their bodies. And Yahweh said unto Adam, See Satan's love for thee, who pretended to give thee the Godhead and greatness? And behold, he burns thee with fire, and seeks to destroy thee from off the earth. Then look at me, O Adam. I created thee, and how many times have I delivered thee out of his hand? If not, would he not have destroyed thee? Then the Most High said again to Eve, What is that he promised thee in the garden, saying, At the time ye shall eat of the tree, your eyes will be opened, and you shall become like gods, knowing righteousness and evil. And that's what we see there in Genesis, right? That's the same promise the adversary promised Adam and Eve in Genesis, if they would partake of the tree of knowledge. What was it? Okay. Now the serpent, this is Genesis 3, verses 1. We're still in the Amplified. Now the serpent was more crafty, subtle, skilled in deceit than any living creature of the field which the Most High had made. And the serpent, Satan, said to the woman, Can it really be that the Most High has said, You shall not eat from any tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat fruit from the trees of the garden, except the fruit from the tree which is in the middle of the garden. The Most High said, You shall not eat from it, nor touch it, otherwise you will die. But the serpent said to the woman, You certainly will not die. For he knows that on the day you eat from it, your eyes will be open. That is, you will have greater awareness, and you will be like him, knowing the difference between righteousness and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was delightful to look at, and the tree to be desired in order to make one wise and insightful, she took some of its fruit and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of the two of them were open, that is, their awareness increased, and they knew that they were naked, and they fastened fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. Back to the apocryphal, Adam. Yahweh said again to Eve, What is that he promised thee in the garden, saying, At that time ye shall eat of the tree, your eyes will be open, and you shall become like gods, knowing righteousness and evil? But lo, he has burnt your bodies with fire, and has made you taste the taste of fire for the taste of the garden, and has made you see the burning of fire, and the evil thereof, and the power it has over you. Your eyes have seen the righteousness he has taken from you. And in truth, he has opened your eyes, and you have seen the garden in which you were with me. And you have also seen the evil that has come upon you from Satan. But as to that position, that Godhead, he cannot give it to you, neither fulfill his speech to you. Nay, he was bitter against you and your seed that will come after you. And Yahweh withdrew his word from them. Then Adam and Eve came into the cave, yet trembling at the fire that scorched their bodies. So Adam said to Eve, Lo, the fire has burnt our flesh in this world, but how will it be when we are dead? And Satan shall punish our souls. Is not our deliverance long and far off, unless the Most High come and in his mercy to fulfill his promise? Then Adam and Eve passed into the cave, blessing themselves for coming into it once more. For it was in their thoughts that they should never it was in their thoughts that they never should enter it, when they saw the fire around it. But as the sun was setting, the fire was still burning and nearing Adam and Eve in the cave, so that they could not sleep in it. After the sun had set, they went out of it. This was the 47th day after they came out of the garden. Adam and Eve then came under the top of the hill by the garden to sleep, as they were wont. And they stood and prayed to Yahweh to forgive them their sins, and then fell asleep under the summit of the mountain. But Satan, the hater of all righteousness, thought within himself, whereas the Most High has promised salvation to Adam by covenant, and that he would deliver him out of all the hardships that have befallen him, but has not promised me by covenant, and will not deliver me out of my hardships. Nay, since he has promised him that he should make him and his seed dwell in the kingdom in which I once was, I will kill Adam. The earth shall be rid of him and shall be left to me alone, so that when he is dead, he may not have any seed left to inherit the kingdom that shall remain my own realm. Yahweh will then be in want of me, and he will restore it to me with my hosts. What a thought process. This is what we're dealing with. This is incredible. I want to take you, for some reason, I forgot to put the source, well, the page where I got this passage here from. So until I find it, I'm just going to read it to you. This was a time when the Most High seized Satan so that Adam could see the true figure of Satan. But when Adam and Eve came out and saw his hideous figure, he was afraid of him and said unto him, Who art thou? Then Satan answered and said unto him, It is I who hid myself within the serpent, and who talked to Eve, and beguiled her until she hearkened to my command. I am he who sent her to the wiles of my speech, to deceive thee, until thou and she ate of the fruit of the tree. And ye came away from under the command of the Most High. But when Adam heard these words from him, he said unto him, Canst thou make me a garden as the Most High made for me? Or canst thou clothe me in the same bright nature in which the Most High had clothed me? Where is the divine nature thou didst promise to give me? Where is that fair speech of thine thou didst hold with us at first, when we were in the garden? Then Satan said unto Adam, Thinkest thou that when I have spoken to one about anything, I shall ever bring it to him or fulfill my word? Not so. For I myself have never even thought of obtaining what I asked. Wow. Incredible. And Satan is basically telling Adam, you really believe me? I wouldn't even think to ask of these things myself. So this is a complete trick. And Satan is admitting it to Adam. And look what Satan says. Look, therefore did I fall, and did I make you fall by that for which I myself fell, and with you also. Whoever accepts my counsel falls thereby. But now, O Adam, by reason of thy fall, thou art under my rule, and I am king over thee, because thou hast hearkened to me, and hast transgressed against thy father. Neither will there be any deliverance from my hands until the day promised thee by the Most High. Again he said, inasmuch as we do not know the day agreed upon with thee by the Father, nor the hour in which thou shalt be delivered, for that reason we will multiply war and murder upon thee and thy righteous seed after thee. Interesting how the devil says, we do not know the day or the hour. And we've heard the Messiah say, no man knows the day or the hour but in heaven, not even him at that time, Messiah at that time. Maybe the Messiah knows now. He's alive. He's up there. Who knows what he's learned? But at that time when Messiah was on earth, he said no man knew the day or the hour. Even here in the apocryphal, you have Satan saying, not knowing the day and the hour. Interesting how we have a lot of doomsday preachers giving you all kind of dates that never come to pass. Never come to pass. The end of the world is this day, and whatever date, this and that. In the scriptures, it says no one knows the day or the hour. Number 9. This is our will and our good pleasure, that we may not leave one of the sons of men to inherit our orders in heaven. For as to our abode, O Adam, it is in burning fire, and we will not cease our evil doing, no, not one day, not 1 hour. And I, O Adam, shall sow fire upon thee when thou comes into the cave to dwell there. When Adam heard these words, he wept and mourned, and he said unto Eve, hear what he said, that he will not fulfill aught of what he told thee in the garden. Did he really then become king over us? But we will ask Yahweh who created us to deliver us out of his hands. This is you never see this kind of stuff in the regular Bible. I encourage you all to go into it. There's much more here that I'm not going to get into. You all can get into it yourself and see the many deceptions and the many trickeries and the many things that Satan and her host did against Adam. The amount of times Adam was tricked into bowing down and worshiping the devil. It's all written here. It's all for you all to go and see for yourself.